Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the Semi-Stages of the Pages, and we're here interviewing authors for the upcoming anthology, Queens in Wonderland. Now, if you've been following along with these interviews, you know that usually I'm not the person doing the interview. It is usually Theresa. However, Theresa, as a author in the anthology and as the editor for the anthology, she herself needs to be interviewed. So I got the call. I am up from the minor leagues today, getting to play, this big role here. So welcome, Theresa. Welcome
Thank
everyone
you.
out there to the Semi-Sages and lovely anthology. So for those of you who might not know, Queens in Wonderland is an anthology with reimaginings and spin-off stories based off of Wonderland, and all of them have an LGBTQ plus element.
Got it.
So remind us, oh, we might have to cut this. What is the name? I forgot the name of the story.
Wonderland's Mad Queen.
Wonderland's Mad Queen. Okay. So Teresa's story is called Wonderland's Mad Queen, and I have the very high privilege. I got to read the story. It's not the anthology comes out. What's the date the anthology comes out for officially, Teresa?
Pre-orders go live February 7th, and it is live February 28th.
Excellent. So I've gotten to read this story. I loved it. I think we talked about channeling workplace trauma. And I felt that there's so much humor. If you have to deal with like corporate entities and you have to deal with arbitrary performance metrics and any of that kind of thing, you're going to really, this story is going to have a very soft spot in your heart. And I really loved the romance in there. I thought it was just so sweet and supportive and just really wholesome. I really loved this story.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear. Yeah, I liked this one a lot, and this one went through a lot of iterations. It's actually the idea is that Wonderland was discovered by an amusement park LLC, so they turned it into an amusement park because that's what would happen. And you got all the Wonderland characters who are being forced to become cast members. And now, of course, they're getting feedback from the guests, and the guests kind of feel like this could be done a lot better. So, and the main character is the Queen of Hearts, and her love interest is the White Queen from the chessboard. That, unless you really know Wonderland and the Wonderland universe, probably is just kind of on the peripheral of your vision there. That was in Alice Through the Looking Glass, where she landed on a chessboard and interacted with many of the chess pieces. So, yeah, it was
Excellent.
fun.
And I would love to know what drew you to wanting to have not just your story about Wonderland, but what drew you to create a whole anthology? Like what was like, yeah, I'm so passionate about this topic or I'm so excited about it. What drew you into this anthology?
So I've always loved the Wonderland universe. It's so versatile. You can do so much with it. And I love the nonsense element of it, and I love how many different iterations have been done with it too. Um, but the overall story is about identity. Uh, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is about her trying to figure out who she is. And she's literally asked this by characters, who are you? And so to me, tying that with an LGBTQIA plus theme really played well, because that's a large part of that community is seeking identity. And the other reason I really wanted to do and combine the two together and do an LGBTQIA plus anthology is because I love selling books. I love going to events. And Molly will tell you, like, she knows, I really, truly do. And my favorite question, if you ever come to my booth, I will draw you in with bookmarks. And and then
And
I
the
will
phrase, yeah.
add the phrase, so what do you like to read? And when people say, "Oh, do you have anything that's LGBTQ plus?" And I would look at my table and be like, um, this one's got a sub character that is, and I wasn't able to fulfill that, and it made me sad. It it should be something that is offered because I feel very, very strongly about providing support and providing light for the LGBTQIA community. So, yeah.
I love that. I love this idea as not just authors, but as you are a publisher and an editor, making sure that you are providing readers out there with things that they want to read and the experiences they want to read and the representation of these different, communities. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I guess on the short story itself, one of the things that fascinates me about short stories is they're they can be so challenging. It is so small and you have to be so efficient. And I would love to hear from you and your process as an author for this. What was like, did you face any difficulties in this story?
Oh my gosh, I so did. So my original concept, I pretty much trashed. I actually had my main character was going to be Alice or a derivative of Alice. But then when I got so many submissions that had an Alice or an Alice derivative, I was like, all right, I have to change that. I knew I wanted the amusement park, but my original draft, I crammed way too much into it. The Alice character went everywhere. She went to the croquet garden. She went to the Mad Tea Party. She went and met Caterpillar. She went and met the White Rabbit. Then she went up to the real world, and then she came back down again. And I wrote it all out, and I was like, well,
In
this
like
is a
10 pages.
mess.
That's a
Yeah.
place a page.
Yeah, this is a mess. And I couldn't dig into the elements that I really wanted to dig into. And then this concept of it becoming this corporate thing just kind of, I think it kind
Happened.
of came out of my soul. So yeah.
That's lovely. Well, I think we've teased people enough. Do you want to give them even a little bit more of a teaser and do a little reading so they can have a sneak peek into your story?
Yeah, I do. I do. This is Wonderland's Mad Queen. I was disappointed in the Mad Hatter. I'd expected him to sing us a song and be more silly and sane, not just weird. Cheshire's grin wasn't wide enough. He wasn't purple striped like in the latest movie. He was gray, and I could totally see him sitting in the tree. He was supposed to appear with just a smile and disappear in the same way, and he didn't. He just gradually appeared. Cheshire's my favorite character, and I was super disappointed. I requested a refund. The chessboard makes no sense, and where is that in the movies? Why would you add a station that wasn't in the movies? I am not sure Caterpillar should smoke at all. What kind of message are you sending to the children? And a hookah of all things. Is that even legal? We must adapt to modern times, and smoking is disgusting and sets a poor example. I'll be registering an official complaint with my congressman. Bailey, or Alice as she insisted on being called, turned over the page and folded her hands in front of herself, looking at each of the station leads. No one said anything, not even the Mad Hatter, who always had a quip for any situation. What do you have to say for yourselves? Bailey asked. Cheshire's stripes slowly began to fade into the beigeness of the conference room. Do not, Bailey or Alice snapped, pointing her finger at Cheshire. Cheshire stopped fading, their green eyes locked on the conference room table. Nothing to say? Bailey asked. Well, I have lots to say. I am deeply disappointed in each of you. You are personally responsible for the performance of Wonderland, and meeting our guests' expectations is paramount. She reached for a glass of water, took a small sip, and refolded her hands. I know you can all do better. Hard work is ahead, but if we just make some tweaks, I know we'll meet the metrics expected from you, from us. The White Rabbit cleared his throat, but Caterpillar shook her head. If you all have nothing to say, then you may leave, except for the Queen of Hearts. I need to speak to her further. Bailey or Alice dropped her head into her hands, her blonde hair flopping forward to cover her face.
So if you want to hear more or read more of this story, again, tell the lovely people out there the dates where they can when they can get this.
All right, so it'll be available for pre-order on February 7th in all of the places, and then it'll be available for purchase February 28th in all of the places. I will also have signed copies available at www.nobadbookspress.com, and then it'll be on all of our tables at all of our events that we're going to in 2024 as well. So be sure to pick up your copy. I'm super, super proud of this anthology, super proud of these authors, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous collection of short stories.
And don't forget, we have a bunch of other author interviews that are up. So there are how many stories are in the anthology, Teresa?
19.
19. So you can hear from all the individual authors on what inspired them, what drives them for their story here, what kind of challenges they face, and get little snippets of reading from each one. If that is exciting to you, I think it is.
It really is. I understood people's stories. And you have to remember, I've read these stories so many times, and I understood them so much more once I had a chance to talk to the authors. So, yeah, check out these other interviews. They're fun.
All right, Teresa, thank you for joining us. Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners today?
No, just please buy it. Buy it, give it as gifts. Have fun.
All
To-
right. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
oh no, I was gonna say, tell your friends.
Indeed. Bye all.
Bye. Take care, everyone.